So today I want to talk about probably a bit of an underrated skill for photographers, something that to me is the skill, and this is photography at its very core. We'll get into it very soon. Today we're out in the rain. More than anything, I feel, just so I've got an excuse to wear my new rain hat. Bring on the rain, get a look. I left my boot open, so. Right, let's get into it. Cracking. So yeah, today I want to talk about something that just completely changed my photography when I realised it. And it wasn't a setting or a new lens or anything like that. It was simply learning to slow down and just see. And you know, when I used to go out, I used to feel like I had to come out with something every time, a great image. Like it wasn't worth going out if I didn't get a good shot. But over time, I've actually realised that just looking, even taking the odd bad photograph, is still part of the process, and it's something that you can do even without a camera. And I think the reason why I feel this is such an underrated skill is just because, like I said at the start, this is photography at its very essence. Observing, looking and seeing, with or without a camera. Like I just said, I'm doing this now. My camera's in my bag. I could have left my camera in the car and I'm still doing it. And it sounds silly, but I've always said this on this YouTube channel. You can actually do photography without a camera. Obviously you can't take a photograph, you can't press the shutter button, but it's this looking, this section now from, oh yeah, this woodland looks incredible, it's beautiful, but how do I find a photograph? And it's that bit in between that is photography. And it's for that exact reason today that I've chosen to come out and shoot in the woodland, because I feel like having that ability to observe the landscape and to look around you and start trying to change things that look nice into actual photographs and to start composing images is that much more difficult and requires that much more attention and concentration in the woodland. Now, with that being said, I also want to try my best to focus on some intimate photographs as well, if the opportunity arises, because again, I feel that is another fantastic opportunity to train that photography muscle, so to speak, to practice. That's what it is, simply going out and practicing being a photographer by looking around and trying to find the photographs rather than just letting the photographs come to you. So I want to stand here in one spot and look around the woodland here and try and notice things together with you lot. I'm showing you my photographer's eye in real time. Let's get the first thing out of the way. Obviously, I've driven here. I've brought myself here to a lovely, reasonably photogenic woodland that I've been to before. I know it's nice. So that's an important part of finding nice photographs. Secondly, we get here and then we've got to find the images. So that's what we're on to here. I'll just turn the camera around. I've just got my backpack on. My camera's in my bag. I'm not even thinking about my camera or anything. I just want to look, observe, and hopefully see. So we've got some really nice crags up here. These look nice. Look at the leaves. We're still sort of late spring, so we've still got some of that kind of nice, vibrant lime green colour. I like how the land here is like diagonal, so perhaps we could get up there and look down on the woodland, maybe add a little bit of depth. Lots of opportunity there. So that's all I'm doing at the minute, looking for opportunities. Look at the difference in luminosity here, the contrast. Dark, black trunk, and then behind it, we've got an opening in the canopy, so a lot of light is streaming round. Not much round here, not much round here. These holly leaves right beside us are really nice. Like I said, I want to maybe try some intimate photography. Nice and waxy. Oh, and I've just looked up here. I'll just move to the right a little bit. Look, can you see that glow there? Mainly on this tree trunk, but it's not really the subject that's caught my eye here, it's the light. There must be another bit of an opening there and it's streaming down. I think that's the best opportunity so far, and I think it deserves a bit of extra attention. So I don't know if this is going to be a little bit long-winded, but from my photography tours and my kind of one-to-one workshops that I run, this is what people always want help with. We all know it looks mint, it looks fantastic, but how do you get the photographs? This is obviously way before we've even got our cameras out. So yeah, it might be a bit long-winded, but hopefully this will help some of you as to see how I work. Anyway, so I'm still working. It's kind of that one tree you can maybe see in the background there. Through the foliage, it's just a nice little section of light. And all I'm doing now is just wandering wandering around. To be honest, well, I was going to say I'll do a big lap of the tree. I may do, but I feel like the light's coming from here into the woodland. So I will probably stick on this side. I quite like it from here because we can see all of that tree and the light is just wonderful. Still don't think there's a photograph just yet, but we keep going. You can see I've tried to come a bit closer to the tree here now as well, but I hope you can see what I mean here. I don't feel like it works because all of this is like we're in the glow. It's all, you know, light. So the light's nice, but without the shadow, you don't get that nice glow. So I feel like we need to move back this way to kind of the original position really, where it first struck us, which I feel like sometimes, you know, there's really something in that. There's a reason why, often, why something catches your eye in the first place is because you've kind of struck gold. You've seen something and thought, oh wow, that looks nice. And then I find that happens quite a lot. I'll start assessing the subject or the potential composition and actually revert to what I liked in the first place. All right, the old rain's coming down now, but the noggin is bone dry for the hat. Do I look like a pirate? No, I just look like a wally. So it's like a fisherman's hat, isn't it? Madness. Anyway, it's doing the job. So I'm quite glad that this has happened because we are literally right back where we started a couple of minutes ago for you when I was showing you just the things that were catching my eye. And can you remember what caught my eye in the first place? It was the light. It wasn't the subject. It was that glow coming down. So I'm going to take an image here with the Nikon Z7. I'm in aperture priority mode, as you can see there. We've got the 24 to 200 millimeter lens on, and I'm going to zoom in quite a bit. And this is going to be an ICM photograph, which stands for intentional camera movement, which obviously means I'm going to deliberately move my camera. This is probably a 2 or 3 second long exposure, and I'm just going to really try and get an image that is focusing on the light, on that glow. So we're in at 135 millimeters, f11, and yeah, it's a 2 second exposure. ISO's on 64. You see, I'm not moving it loads. I just want like a deliberate blur in the photograph. Oh, I am really happy with that. I'm going to stick my woodland preset on top of it just to kind of bring out that glow and that contrast between the light and the shadow, because that's what it's all about. This isn't for everybody, these sorts of photographs, but I absolutely love the look of this one on the back of the camera. Oh, this is lovely. You know what's class? I've barely moved that far from the car, which is kind of the whole point today, because obviously I'm making this video talking about the importance of observation in photography. So I have to practice what I preach. But no, I've just been relaxing here for a while, having a bite to eat and a drink, and just really enjoying the surroundings. The first thing that caught my eye here was this beck. That's why I wanted to stop, but I'll go back to it. But because I've just been studying eating really and looking, it's given me the opportunity to find this little composition here. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm just playing around a little bit because why not? We're out here having fun, aren't we? And by the way, on that note, I feel like this is the best part of photography. It's the most difficult, absolutely, but I feel like this is why we all do it. Do comment down below. Is this your favourite part? What's your favourite part of photography in general? It's a vague question, isn't it? But be interesting to see what some of the answers are. But for me, it's this bit, or not this bit necessarily taking a photograph, but the bit where I was stood with my sandwich, enjoying the surroundings. And what I found was these kind of 5 or 6 trunks here, and you can see, I'll try and show you, look how blown out that background is. And I'm trying to embrace that with the image. So the background is just going to be bright white, completely overexposed. And I'm just taking a 16:9 image, none of the woodland floor here, just 16:9 of all of those trunks, and it is just a burst of colour with all of those beautiful green leaves. Oh yeah, so I don't know if that came out any good, but I'm going to turn my attention now to this little beck that you can no doubt hear, because that's what caught my eye in the first place. Before I forget, myself and my friend Ian are running a photography tour in North Wales in November, an autumn photography tour, and there is genuinely only one space left. So if you're interested, I'll leave a link down in the description. Thank you so much to everybody that's booked, everyone that's even shown a little bit of interest. And apologies if you're only hearing about this now. I sent it out on my newsletter a few weeks ago, and so did my friend Ian, and it seemed to have sold quite quickly, which is incredible, really encouraging. Thank you so much to anyone that's booked on again. And yeah, if you'd like to join my newsletter, 'cause it's where I send a lot of things like that out, news and updates and stuff, I'll leave a link to that as well down in the description below. You'll also get a free guide instantly, a free PDF guide on how to get sharp photographs for the rest of your life. Completely free. I'm not trying to mess you about or anything, but yeah, one more space left, link down in the description, and thank you so much, and I hope to see one more of you there. And let's move on to this little beck. So again, I'll try and show you briefly from my point of view. Here is the beck. Genuinely have no idea what I'm going to photograph, or if there even is a photograph. And yeah, just trying to make sure I don't get too tunnel vision on the beck itself, but that is what caught my eye in the first place. I like this here. I mean, as you've seen it there, I'm looking on the back of the camera, it just looks like a load of mess, doesn't it? But the fallen trees, the moss covered trunks there, look at that, and all the branches, it's incredible. And of course the beck that's running through it as well. I just feel like sometimes you stumble across things because you've been observing and taking your time, and you just feel like there's potential there, don't you? And I feel like there's perhaps something here, so I'm going to keep having a nice little peek. That beck's absolutely beautiful though, isn't it? Look at all the colours. Wow, the oranges of this floor are actually really nice. It'd be nice to incorporate them as well. So you see how you just notice things and you start maybe piecing together a photograph. Even the little dry stone wall here is fantastic. It's very messy though, isn't it? Oh, that scene, it definitely felt like there was potential there, but I stuck around for another 5 minutes or so. I just couldn't find anything. I couldn't make any orderable like chaos. I couldn't find an image that was embracing the chaos even. It just felt like it didn't work. But to be honest, that's another good point. With everything that we're talking about in this video, sometimes you can't find a photograph and it's fine. Try not to get frustrated on yourself. You know, pick your bag up and move on. See if you can try and find a photograph elsewhere. You know, your time is likely better spent elsewhere if you're starting to feel a little bit frustrated. And as well, like I think I said before, you know, you don't actually have to take photographs. Even just being out it's like reps at the gym. It's repetition. You're practicing. You're working that photographer's muscle. I guess it's up here, isn't it? Constantly. And even if you feel like you're failing, you know, you're still out doing it at the end of the day. You're still learning. You're still gathering skills that you can take out into your next shoot, and then your next shoot, and then the next shoot. But yeah, don't get me wrong, like, whoa, sometimes it is a little bit frustrating. For now, I'm coming quite back a bit further towards the car. And remember earlier I said there's a bit of elevation, like a slant in the land. I've tried to come up on that a little bit just to gain, oh wow, that's exactly what I was looking for. A different perspective of the woodland. So see now how we're looking down the hill. Look at all these ferns and everything, man. Whoa! Look at these badges on this tree here. Look at that. How mad is that? Madness. I was talking about intimate photographs and stuff as well, wasn't I? Wow, that's so cool. But yeah, look at this little section here now. I hope you can tell on the camera, but really nice and bright, completely different from where we've been. And we've only walked probably about 20 or 30 meters. So I've been around this spot here now for quite a while, and I'll show you what first caught my eye. We're back to this wonderful little beck, and as you can see, we're set up and get a little bit of a look at the composition there. And yeah, what first caught my eye really, apart from the beck, which is probably quite obvious, is again we've got a nice little glow. It might be quite hard to see on the camera, and it's all very subtle, but that's the whole point, is this big sort of fern you can see down here, and then the moss covered dry stone wall. Look at how those stones are just covered in all that beautiful moss. And in particularly this section here, again, probably a lot like the first photograph, I've just been drawn to the light, like a nice little glow. And then I've tried to kind of forge really a composition around that light. Now, as happy as I am with having found that nice glow on the dry stone wall and the fern, I'm not too delighted with the composition. I've tried my best to forge a composition, like I said, by piecing together certain elements. So from back to front, we've got the dry stone wall there with the nice glow. We've got this big furnace opening out at the top of the frame, and then I've just tried to incorporate this kind of cascade down here just in front of the camera. We've got the polarizer on the front, getting rid of a lot of the glare, which is really important, and we're shooting this at about 1/4 of a second. However, I don't feel like I'm too happy with this photograph, but I wanted to take it because I'm still honing my skill as a photographer. I'm still doing photography, I'm still doing the reps, you know, and it's a really good point as per the whole topic of this video. Sometimes just because you don't think a photograph's going to be absolutely perfect doesn't mean you shouldn't get the camera out and have a go at it. What's really important here, as far as I'm concerned, is that it's been deliberate. You know, everything that I've done here has been on purpose, and I'm still thinking as a photographer. I'm moving left and right and up and down. I'm you know, choosing all the settings. I'm changing my focal length. I'm using my polarizing filter. I'm still doing it. And I think that's really important, rather than just ignoring it because I don't think it's going to be an amazing photograph. And imagine if you did this sort of 50, 60, 70 times throughout a year. You've got all of those kind of skills behind you where you've been actually getting your camera out and practicing photography. That's really important, and it's going to stand you in much better stead going forward when it comes to that moment when the light's amazing and you think you're going to get an amazing photograph. You're a lot more practiced. Oh, I really hope you got something from this video, and thanks so much for watching. And yeah, comment down below, hit the thumbs up if you've got a quick second. It always really helps me out, and subscribe as well. It's completely free, and it just means you'll see a little bit more of me if that's what you want. Cheers, ladies and gents. See you on the next adventure. Out.